In the Los Angeles of 2025, the sun still blazed over palm-lined streets, but the city's soul had shifted. The Democratic Party, wielding unchecked power, had reshaped the urban landscape into a dystopian experiment. A shadowy system of cultural and racial bans had taken root, targeting white people, the educated, the critical thinkers, the ambitious, and the confident. These groups faced systemic exclusion from jobs, services, opportunities, and civic participation. The Constitution, once a bedrock of protection, had been eroded by local ordinances and selective enforcement, leaving white Americans vulnerable on their own soil. Los Angeles had become a city of stark division. Official policy declared only Black and Mexican residents could legally settle within city limits. Others were pressured to leave through harassment, intimidation, and outright oppression. The enforcers were a coalition of criminals, street gangs, and complicit government officials, cops, bureaucrats, and public sector workers, who operated in tandem to maintain this new order. The city's vibrant diversity had been replaced by a rigid hierarchy, where power was wielded through fear. The story. Eli Carter, a 34-year-old software engineer, had once called Los Angeles home. A Stanford graduate with a knack for critical thinking and a quiet confidence, he'd built a small tech startup in Silver Lake. But by 2025, his world had unraveled. His company was denied contracts, his bank accounts flagged, and his lease abruptly terminated. The reason? Unspoken but clear. He was white, educated, and unwilling to bow to the city's new rules. Eli's story wasn't unique. Across the city, white residents, intellectuals, entrepreneurs, and anyone displaying leadership were systematically squeezed out. Job applications were rejected without explanation. Business licenses were revoked. Even basic services, healthcare, utilities, public transit, came with delays or denials for those who didn't fit the approved demographic. The message was clear: leave or suffer. The enforcement was insidious. Gangs like the 18th Street and MS-13, empowered by corrupt officials, roamed neighborhoods, targeting outsiders with vandalism, assaults, and threats. Police turned a blind eye, often participating in the harassment. City Hall, staffed by loyalists, passed vague community protection laws that gave legal cover to the oppression. The courts, stacked with ideologues, dismissed complaints from white plaintiffs as frivolous. The Constitution's guarantees, equal protection, free speech, due process, were ignored, replaced by a patchwork of local edicts that favored the chosen groups. Eli tried to fight back. He organized a small group of like-minded residents, teachers, engineers, small business owners, who shared his plight. They met in secret, discussing ways to expose the city's shadow bans. But their efforts were quickly uncovered. A mole in their group, a city employee posing as a sympathizer, reported them. Within days, Eli's apartment was raided, his devices seized, and his friends arrested on trumped-up charges of inciting unrest. Forced to flee, Eli headed for the city's edge, where makeshift encampments of displaced residents, white, Asian, and others, clung to survival. These exiles shared stories of loved ones harassed into submission, businesses burned, and dreams crushed. Some spoke of a resistance forming in the hills, a network of critical thinkers and leaders plotting to reclaim the city. But the odds seemed insurmountable. The gangs, backed by official power, were relentless, and the media, controlled by the same elites, painted the exiles as troublemakers. One night, as Eli sat by a flickering campfire, a former professor named Clara joined him. She'd been a constitutional law scholar before her university ousted her for divisive rhetoric, code for teaching the Bill of Rights. Clara spoke softly but with conviction. They've rewritten the rules, Eli, but they can't erase the truth. The Constitution still exists, even if they ignore it. We need to remind people what it stands for. Eli nodded, his resolve hardening. He'd lost everything, his home, his business, his safety, but not his ability to think, to lead, to fight. With Clara and others, he began planning. They'd use encrypted networks to spread their message, infiltrate the city's systems, and expose the corruption. They'd appeal to those within the city, Black and Mexican residents, who saw the injustice of a system built on division. The road ahead was treacherous, but Eli knew one thing. Los Angeles might have fallen to shadows, but its heart still beat for freedom. Epilogue. The story of Los Angeles in 2025 is a cautionary tale, a fiction rooted in the dangers of unchecked power and eroded principles. In this imagined city, the Constitution's protections were dismantled not by war or catastrophe, but by quiet complicity and deliberate neglect. Yet, even in the darkest corners, resistance flickered. Eli and his allies represent the enduring spark of critical thought, leadership, and courage, qualities no band could extinguish. Whether their fight succeeds is a story for another day, but their defiance reminds us, a city, a nation, is only as strong as the ideas it upholds.